This program is brought to you by YIN.
Women empowerment today is not just about access, it's about confidence, voice, leadership, and creating spaces where girls can thrive. Across cultures and countries, young women are challenging systems, building initiatives, and reshaping what leadership looks like. This episode explores self-esteem and identity, youth-led women empowerment initiatives, creating safe and intentional spaces for girls, leadership at a young age.
Welcome to Impact Conversation on YIN, the Youth Impact Network, where we spotlight stories, ideas, and people shaping change in real time. Today's conversation centers on women empowerment, not as a buzzword, but as a lived experience. Around the world, young women are still navigating systems that limit their voice, confidence, and leadership. Yet, many are choosing to build their own spaces, lead their own movements, and redefine what power looks like. Today, we are joined by two young women doing exactly that. We have Bilge Sena Yusau, who is a PIB student from Turkey and an eco ambassador at SDGs Today, a 100 youth ambassador and the founder and the moderator of the Global Gap Squad podcast. Through her work, Bilge creates spaces for dialogue, youth voice, and empowerment, proving that leadership doesn't have an appropriate age. And we have Maddie Johnson, also known as Maddie, who is a visual storyteller, project manager, author, and founder of Raise Them Queens Initiative. Raise Them Queens is a youth-led organization focusing on restoring girls' self-esteem, building confidence, and equipping young women with the tools to become intentional, value-driven leaders, shaping a more equitable future. Together, they represent two different contexts, but one shared mission, empowering girls to rise. So, good day, Bilge and Mehdi. So, I have two questions for you, which we start with. It's a new segment on Impact Conversation, where we ask you two questions and you just respond generally. It must come with the answer and a reason also as well. So, the first question is that what kind of music do you like?
Um, I think pop music, but like like all kinds
Okay.
of.
And why do you love pop?
I think it gives me the motivation I need and the energy, so
Makes sense. And you, Mehdi?
Um, I think mostly I like grime and like literally UK rap music.
Why, if I may ask?
That's because I don't know, I really like the drums, I like the beats, I like the bass, I like it just I don't know, it keeps me going.
Okay, so the second question is, if you're a YouTube person, so everybody watches YouTube for different reasons, what is your favorite YouTube channel?
I actually
Okay.
don't watch YouTube that much.
You
Yeah.
don't have a favorite channel at all.
No, I mostly watch series, TV shows, that.
Okay, and you, Mehdi?
I think my favorite YouTube channel has to be Abraham Diop. He's a self-development coach. He does those type of videos. And on Jaded Jade, she's also into self-development and self-growth.
So we'll get into the context of today. So with these questions, we just want to know who is Bilge, who is Midi, based on the work that you are both doing. So to both of you, this question goes to both of you. When did you realize that being a girl or a young woman came with expectations or limitations?
I actually first realized it when I noticed how differently girls are treated in some countries. Like when I was talking with my international friends, and they told me that girls were not educated enough because they weren't going to married off. And I mean, that was a really turning point for me. And I was really shocked.
Based on that context, it's really scary when you are being married off. Boys don't know that experience, it's only knew by girls. Uh, it's some type of exploitation if people don't want to actually refer to it that much, but they actually refer to it as a culture where it's normal for you to actually get married off to somebody that they know or a relative, and for you to not stand with it. What can you say to you, Bilge? Would you have been happy if you were married off?
I mean, if it, no, of course no, because when you are married off, you are forced to live with your husband's family, and you have limited connections with your own family, your relatives. So I think no, I wouldn't want that. I mean, just stay away from.
Do you agree with the same thing, Mehdi? Bilge, as Mehdi will be coming back, you know, what does empowerment personally mean to you beyond that definition?
For me, I think empowerment means that learning to see from different point of views and understand them. Like when you're talking with people from different cultures, even people who lived in a different household. I mean, it can be still the same culture, but it's a different household. Um, to embrace your differences and learn about empathy and their opinions, I think.
I do understand that. So let's come to a point where it's mainly you. Um, as you were founding and moderating that organization, what gap were you trying to fill?
Okay, so I want to create more space for young people, especially, I mean, students, because to express their thoughts, ideas, and concerns, it's difficult because when even when you're talking with your mom and dad, they tell you you're a kid, just do your homework, study, and it it doesn't concern you. But many, uh, but that affects us too. So we need to talk about those issues. And these many conversation about global issues happen without youth voices, which is a whole another issue itself. And I believe our perspectives matter because we're going to live in this world for at least 30 years. I mean, adults should give space to us.
Makes sense. I get the context that you are trying to fill with this podcast. So why is conversation itself such a powerful tool for empowerment?
Because conversation helps people feel seen and understood. I mean, it's a way of expressing our feelings. So when we talk openly, we realize we're not alone, and that shared understanding can build confidence and inspire action.
So I want to get to a point of as you were and you are a young student, how do you navigate leadership in spaces often dominated by older voices? If you could look, I don't know, you'd experience, sorry, your experience in Turkey, because I am from South Africa. Most of the people that are in leadership are older people who actually lead us, but I'm not sure about Turkey. So how do you navigate leadership in spaces where they are dominated by older voices?
Yeah, so I remind myself that leadership is not about age, but it's about purpose and responsibility. And when people try to, block me, that telling that I am young, I just try and try and try. Uh, it doesn't matter the obstacle, how bigger the obstacle is. I just try and I make them listen to me. I mean, I try and they till they don't have a choice. So I also listen, learn, and still speak up when I believe something is important.
So back to you, Mehdi. When did you first realize that being a girl or a young woman, specifically in Nigeria, came with expectations or limitations?
I think I've realized that from a very young age because while most boys were my age were allowed to play and do like really cool stuff, we were told at an early age that we have responsibilities and duties, especially with like chores, and there were some things we couldn't do that the boys at that age were allowed to do. And I think they for different people, for different communities in Nigeria, there were different levels to these limitations. Most of the my friends, some of the people I know who are from the north, they are not allowed to go to school because the boy has to go first. Maybe because the boy is like the first child of the family, so he is priority at that point. So those, so from an early age, I have realized that there are limitations and there are certain demanding expectations that society has placed on the girl child.
So Mehdi, what does empowerment personally mean to you beyond the definition?
Empowerment. Okay, I think for me, it's not just about helping people at this point. It simply means believing in the person, going as far as making sure the person has the person's potential is placed in the right circle. The person has the right network. The person has the right connections, the right platforms. Going to that extreme length to make sure that someone's success story is like your assignment or your some form of your life's purpose feels like empowerment to me. So it's not just sharing 200 pads to 200 girls in a community. It's making sure that each of these girls, the skills that they have are properly, exported or seen in the best of settings. So that's what empowerment is to me.
So back to you, Bilge. What challenges do young girls face today that nobody speaks about enough?
So, one major challenge, I think it's a major, is the pressure to be perfect. I mean, academically, socially, and even online. And as Maddie said, I mean, at the household, um, they have a pressure to be the perfect housemate, to control the house, and many girls struggle silently with self-doubt, comparison, and fear of judgment. So they are not speaking enough for themselves. Yeah.
I do understand that. Uh, but Mehdi, when we come to your foundation, Raise Them Queens, it focuses heavily on self-esteem, you know, as Bilge is saying that the girls are not speaking enough for themselves. It may be due to self-esteem. So why do you think that confidence is such a critical foundation for empowerment?
Okay, so like the my NGO's name has been established as Raise Them Queens. And one of the attributes of a queen is to have courage, to be brave, to be confident, to hold your head high. And that's one of the things I think is critical to every girl child right now. For us to be queens, for us to replicate that courage that we need to speak up. Just like Bill Gates said, there are we struggle a lot with self-doubt. We struggle a lot with the idea of being perfect, of meeting society standards. And it's okay, honestly, because when there's so much pressure and so much demand, you only want to be the best you can be. So for you to be brave enough to stand up and ask these questions, for you to be brave enough and share that, oh, you're scared, to share that you need help, you need some form of empowerment. I feel like that is the backbone of what my NGO wants to establish amongst girls today, to make them realize that once you have that confidence as a queen, you honestly bring a lot of opportunities to yourself, because imagine in a room of 1,000 girls and all of them are battling this silent fights, and maybe one of them finally speaks up and says, "Oh, I'm scared of this, I'm scared of that." There's definitely going to be someone out there in the world that's willing to help her, that would want to make her success story a reality. So that's why.
So, with your experience working with girls across different communities, what patterns have you noticed when working with them? What's different, or the different patterns that they actually obtain?
Okay. The patterns I have noticed actually is, again, self-doubt, because um you want to be sure that everything you're doing, there's no mistake to it. Everything you're doing is somewhat making is somewhat bringing value to society. As a girl, I've had the opportunity to speak to someone. She's a friend of mine. She's from Cairo in Egypt, and she's working on getting her NGO, and she messaged me and asked me how I established my NGO. And I spoke to her about how to start and everything, but she still, I don't know, she still felt a bit scared. Those were the patterns I noticed. There's a lot of doubts, there's a lot of questioning, but I think it's fine. The whole process requires patience. Empowerment requires patience, and I just love seeing my friends do something that they've always thought they couldn't do. So yeah.
Bilge, do you think empowerment looks different depending on culture or geography? As I'm in South Africa, as Maddie is in Nigeria, and you are in Turkey, do you think empowerment looks different?
Yes, I'm definitely, because empowerment is can look different depending on cultural norms and opportunities. Uh, but the core idea remains the same, like having the freedom to choose and the confidence to be yourself. But when we go back to the cultural norms and opportunities, empowerment looks different because the expectation of the society is different. Like, you want to be a better you and better person, and every culture's image of a better person is different. So yeah, it
Yeah.
changes.
How does your storytelling, and representation change how girls see themselves?
Um, Honestly, I don't know if I have done enough with storytelling and representation, but so far I've had 2 or 3 friends tell me that they've been inspired by the things I do, writing a book at an early age, standing in front of a crowd in my local state to give a presentation on the need for the government to um, be critical with the empowerment of women and girls. All those little things somehow inspires 2 or 3 of them. So I would say that storytelling, um, for me, is still not very as impactful as I want it to be, but so far so good. It's making sense. It's bringing value somehow.
Yeah. The little you go, the more impact it doesn't, as we all know, as we are all founders here, it doesn't matter where you started, how you started, with small amounts you started, but the impact is what matters. So maybe what does it mean to raise girls who are intentional and value driven?
Um, that's a good question. Okay, I think it's important for us to raise girls that are intentional today, because imagine in a society where perhaps a girl is sent off to get married and she marries this man that basically doesn't he basically provides, he doesn't give her the emotional support. He's just, I don't know, he's just there, right? And this lady is just trying her best to hold her home together. Honestly, her children, the children that would come out from that marriage, wouldn't entirely be value driven. They would probably, the best thing they would do is survive. Just think of ways to survive. Think of ways to bring food to the table for the next 2 days, 3 days. So at that point, the woman, the mother, who is the primary foundation of that family, has not been able to fully meet the role of bringing value to the family, because at an early age she was just married off. So she was basically just sent to do something she has no clue whatsoever what to do. So my NGO is established to train girls today, give them the basic knowledge like financial literacy, because it's very important for women to be financially stable, to have knowledge on how to manage resources in the home before they enter marriage. Financial education, tech, the very basic skills are what my NGO plans to offer and establish in 500 women. So imagine we have that goal, and there are 500 young women who are entering marriages, and they have children who they pass down the same value to. We're basically going to create a ripple effect in the society. So that's the goal of my NGO in a nutshell.
So, Bilge, I want to come to you. What role do us young men, and communities play in women empowerment? We know not many boys are actually on the side of girls today because of um, masculinity and all of those things. What role could we play as a community and also young men in women empowerment?
So, for young men, they need to support girls more because I'm going to give an example. So when you're a girl and you're at school, right? You're walking with your friends, and a boy just yells at you in like a bullying. He tells you, "You look beautiful today," but he is, making fun of you. He's bullying you with that word because you know him, and I mean that um in, doesn't encourage women. I mean that decreases our self-esteem and make things like um am I ugly or that kind of thing. So young men should support women more instead of making fun of them and creating stereotypes for them. And for communities, they need to support equally both men and women because the society is very important for the way we see ourselves, even we like it or not. How the society treats us, we tend to like or dislike ourselves. So it is a really important role in women empowerment.
I like the point that you referred on with bullying. Um, Especially in South Africa, I would like to context that. Cyberbullying has now become a norm, and it is covered through means of a joke, it is covered through means of um, being blunt or speaking the truth, you know. People don't actually realize, and it's mostly happening to girls. I remember there was a TikTok of a slim girl who just posted a photo of herself just randomly on TikTok, and it was just wild with comments of joke, but it was a deeper cyberbullying, and people couldn't actually recognize that as uh,
Yeah.
a country or in unison, to actually say this is incorrect and it needs to stop. It's happening to people on reality shows. Everybody who's in the media space will experience cyber bullying.
I mean,
But
I
when we okay, Yes?
I had a friend at school. He's in my class, and with his friend, they were like, this girl is too chubby. This girl's hair is too short or long, and this girl doesn't dress better. And like, it was really disturbing us to hear those kind of things. And my friend, she was standing in front of them. She heard all of this, and at the end, she gets so angry, and in the middle of the class, she would turn and said, "Just shut up and look to yourself." I mean, she was so angry, and we were like shocked. But these teens, man needs to get together their minds and look around themselves. Just see the damage that they are doing to the girls and the community.
It's the little things that people say, it's the meddling, it's your opinion. Uh, I wouldn't actually give an opinion if someone hasn't asked for it. If you ask me about it, if I just comment an opinion about your classes, you didn't even ask me anything about your classes. It's some type of like intrusive thoughts into yourself. So, Bilge, in closing, what advice would you give to a girl who feels unheard or underestimated?
I will tell her that her voice matters. I mean, even if it feels small right now, she shouldn't wait for permission to believe in herself, because growth starts the moment that she believes in herself.
Today's conversation reminds us that empowerment doesn't always start with policy. It often starts with belief, voice, and community. Thank you to Bilge and Maddie for sharing their journeys, work, and commitment to raising confidence and capable women. What kind of, to you, Maddie, what kind of world are you hoping to help build for the next coming generation of girls?
Interesting question. For the next year or years, I'm hoping to build a safer society where girls can um basically go out to events and feel safe to come home. They're not worried about um the weirdos on the streets. They're not worried about basically the men that would hurt them or rape them or those things. I'm thinking of a society where opportunities are allowed to girls not because of the agenda, not because they are girls, but because they meet um, the requirements. They meet the the things, the standards that they want to, that they have potential for. If you get what I mean. So I'm imagining a society where girls have value to give back to their homes, to give back to their families, to their children, to and even to the communities around them. I'm thinking of so much that would be allowed for women to um, be allowed to do that somehow wouldn't affect the unborn generation. That's what I'm thinking of. A society where women are forced to get married. It's just really beautiful if you imagine it. So that's the society I'm working towards achieving. And I hope with you, with Bilge, um, all these dreams are slowly going to become a reality.
This has been an Impact Conversation on YIN, where youth stories meet real world impact. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.